Hello everyone, this is Kirill and Bagheera of course, and this is the first devlog of our personal challenge, 2 weeks alpha 1 month beta, and let's jump into it. I remind you that this is going to be a tower defense game, and yes, it's going to be 3D because we simply don't know how to make 2D, and we love 3D art. We've made the terrain pipeline. This is something made with Terrain Composer. No surprise here. In Terrain Composer we can move the whole plateaus, mountains and stuff, and this will be handy when I want to tweak the game and the level. Then we export our health map into World Machine. It applies erosion and makes a color map, splat map, something you could do in Terrain Composer, but since erosion changes all this, we make it in World Machine. We then export the haze map to Unity, where Relief Terrain Pack exports the OBJ mesh. The mesh is decimated in Blender or Maya, and then in Unity we have a mesh that can be used as a terrain. We bake the nav mesh and maybe the light. This step is required because World Machine exports pretty bad meshes, and we want to use mesh because terrain is something we don't really like. Actually, because of this popping, if you have pixel error like 5, it has this popping, and we want player to be able to zoom in and out. And if you decrease pixel error to 2, then you have it even worse than mesh. Also, our shader works better on mesh because mesh has normals, while terrain has some sort of normals that always look upwards. The shader we made is a shader made with Amplify Shader Editor, the greatest asset ever. If you suddenly missed it, go ahead and check it. It's great. It's really great. I mean, it's really great. Okay. Actually, the whole game will be using those shaders, so don't miss this asset. It has. Let me show what it has. It uses texture arrays that we used from Megasplat. Texture array allows us to have lots of textures on one single material, and it uses only one texture sample. Here I'm tweaking the two textures of a red splat. Then the red splat has another two textures. They are blended with this noise. Mountains have their own two textures, and the green channel is reserved for something if we want it. And also we have this on alpha channel we have this mountain texture under the mountain. We also tested the monsters. I will dive into plot in a few minutes. Monsters are some stone creatures or rock creatures which have crystals. Crystals have their cube map. This one. The cube map is used to have different reflections from different angles. Looks nice. Each maybe not so observable from distance, but we will have bigger crystals. The rim light, the same, will be noticed on the big models. Rock has also his edges and edge intensity. Emission intensity, of course. And we may be adding the animation to emission. And we also have to combine these textures together. Okay, that's it about the art we've made in 2 days. Let's go and check what our programmer Roman did and explain some plot. So we have here the menu. We can change profile or create new one, like new profile, very original, new game, and here are we on the global map. Now I will explain our metagame and plot. So you are the ship that flies into unknown sector. I apologize. And its mission is to find some artifact to save the world from the void. The void is something that just devours everything. You come to the island, to the new island, to a new island, another one, explore them like in FTL, and you spend the resources equal to distance. Here are they. You can go back to menu, continue, you will see the same amount of resources. We can even exit the game, launch it again, and we will continue on the same spot. Continue, flying, and here is the resources. When you arrive to the island, you either meet some encounter or you go to the battle. Here is transition scene. When you arrive on the island, this is not the island I've showed you because we haven't merged the builds yet. And when you arrive to the island, you choose the deploy zone. You can move to another deploy zones later. Your ship is something sectioned. Each section can be separated and landed. Yeah, I even can rotate the ghost where the section will land, and it even has small queue, order queue, and I've placed it with the shift button, and it will upon arriving go there. The mothership also is standing on its place until it actually has some small angle to the waypoint. We are using Unity in our mesh system because A* was not sufficient for our performance purposes, and Apex is grid-based. We didn't really enjoy the large initialization time because we are going to have large maps. And yeah, those are great assets, don't get me wrong, but we decided to stick with Unity's one. Okay, this is it. This is what we have in our first 2 days. Checking some not post effects, just particle effects. We'll explain it in the next devlog. And one last thing, we started with global map and terrains because I simply haven't finished the game design document. But now I almost did. So now we are starting making actual combat system and proper models and textures. Okay, in 2 days, which will be Tuesday, I will post another devlog. Until then, stay safe and stay well. Bye.